One of the things many people don't appreciate is that as a Jewish believer, there is this aspect in which I might have an advantage in terms of sharing the gospel with other Jewish people, but I have a big disadvantage because in many places within the Jewish community, I'm seen as a traitor to the Jewish community, a traitor to my identity. And so it's sometimes harder for me to speak into somebody's life or to share the gospel with them because of that barrier that they've put up. And it's often that barrier doesn't exist for Gentiles.
It doesn't exist for Gentiles because most Jewish people think that Gentiles should believe in Jesus.
Right,
Or
they're not,
all
they're
of them
not
do believe in
surprised
Jesus.
by it, right? Yeah.
So I'd love to hear some ways that our viewers can engage their Jewish friends and community.
Well, I think one of the first things is to get over the barrier that says, the Jewish person knows more about the Bible than I do. We say no for a Jewish person because we assume that they know a lot about the Bible or that they're already predisposed not to want to talk about faith. And that's obviously not true. But relationship, I think, is the key.
I think it's important to, begin with prayer. And anything else reaching anybody with the gospel is to pray that God would give us divine appointments. And that opens up our hearts to seeing things and seeing possibilities, that we see his hand at work, and then we just plow forward, and sort of get over that fear, that hump of like, oh, how am I going to be received? Everybody experiences that at one point or another, but it's important is just to say, Lord, give me love for these people. Show me ways that I can get something into the conversation or take, pick up on something that they say that I can respond to, and to show them the love, show them my concern for them, and then have that opportunity to share the gospel in a natural way, not a forced way, but it's just a way that God leads you.
I think the natural way is the most important. There is no formula, there is no process, there's no you do this and that do that. The Lord is the one who is at work. Our responsibility for those who believe is just to let people know. How will they believe unless they hear? That's all it is. And so how do you do that? One of the important ways for now, for example, if you know a Jewish neighbor, considering what's going on in Israel with the anti-Semitism, you could just ask them, how you doing? Right. How you doing with all of this? And you know what? I'm here for you if you need anything. That in itself is tremendous, right? Now, ultimately, we know that the story is about coming to faith because, as I said before, it's about eternal consequences. That's what the goal is. But there are going to be many people that don't come to faith. But we shouldn't stop just because of that. Right. We should just continue to love our neighbor. During the holidays, send them a card. Happy Passover. Try to avoid the happy Yom Kippur, but certainly happy Sukkot or whatever. Just love your neighbor as you would anybody else. And just understand that Jewish people are people too. And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, and along with the often believed lie that Jewish people are going to know the Bible better than I do, right? We have to talk to the Jewish person to figure out where their knowledge of the Bible is at. Some of them may know the Bible in a very in-depth manner. Others maybe never read the Bible, so we have to talk to them. The other lie that I would encourage our viewers to displace and replace with the truth, the enemy loves to tell us that Jewish people aren't interested in the gospel. He loves for Christians to think, well, he's Jewish, so he wouldn't want to hear this. Or I know how Jewish he or she is, and so they'll never consider the gospel. This is a lie from the pit of hell. And it's exactly what the enemy wants to use to prevent Gentile believers from sharing the hope we have in Messiah. And so we need to be sharing the gospel. Paul says it's a priority to share the gospel with the Jewish people. Don't allow one of the many lies from the enemy to keep you from sharing the gospel with your Jewish friends.